Hey guys, welcome to the AMPM podcast. This is episode 2. I'm Liam,
I'm Keegan.
and we hope you enjoy another episode. I think it's partly to do with I don't want to spend money on gas, but I'm also I don't know. I don't know if I'm nervous or if I'm just not that interested because a lot of people ask me, "Oh, why don't you go out and drive? Why don't you go out and drive?" And I'm just like, "Man, like I got nowhere to go. I got nowhere to be. Just
Yeah.
driving doesn't interest me." And I know, I don't know, but it sounds like that you kind of enjoy it a little bit though, going out for a drive, even though it might be a little nerve wracking at times. But
Oh yeah, totally. I love it, especially around here. It's really nice. It's like
yeah,
absolutely beautiful in some spots. That's like one of the big redeeming things about the valley that I actually enjoy is like you go out and especially on like a nice day,
mm-hmm,
it's absolutely beautiful out here.
mm-hmm,
And so sometimes I'm ready to go and I'm ready to do this shit. And I kind of treat it like skydiving, where you just kind of like jump into it. You get in the car and you're like, oh fuck, and then you get on the road and you're like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm driving now, and then
yeah.
you just focus on the road and do your thing, pay attention,
No,
and it's
yeah.
great.
For me, it was probably in the beginning just a lot of information overload more than it was
Yeah,
I don't want to go and drive. But other than that, it hasn't been bad. Especially this January with work, I was driving a lot more.
hmm
So I've started to get used to it, especially around the city, just because it's especially once you know your surroundings and where you want to go, and you've driven the same road for a while. It gets pretty easy. It's just mainly watching out for the unexpected. But
absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing is it's like there's some, especially like when you're driving in like a town or like at lights or something. That's when like you get like the big information overload. I
yeah,
find I find that like when I'm driving on like the country roads, you're going 80, so you're going really like pretty fast,
yeah.
and you're just kind of like cruising, but there's nothing going on around you. It's just fields and trees and shit.
Well, yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure I was telling you and Nick this before, but I love going down the country roads and just speeding because it's everything's going by you so fast that it's I don't know why. I only do it on the well, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's any safer, but uh cuz you have some cow or a horse
yeah,
come out in front of you or something, or some deer, especially around here, some stupid deer or moose walk out in front of you. But yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah. Around
and I
here,
think I was gonna say one other thing about country road is I think it's kind of
yeah,
it's freeing as well. You kind of get out
yeah.
there and you're just driving. So anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say around here, you're probably more liable to hit like a dog or something just running in the street than anything else. Like they're everywhere.
No, I say a horse because there was actually I want to say probably a month or no, this would have been back in October actually. Back in October there was a horse that got out, and it was just
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah, and there well I think Nick was talking about it. He talks about um somebody's horse got out. Anyway, and I said, "Yeah, I saw that. There was horse shit like going up the going up the road." Anyway, and me and my coworker, we were driving out that way cuz we were coming back from the landfill, and yeah, there was a horse there, and there was a trail of horse shit right behind it.
Scavenger hunt, dude.
Yeah,
Follow the trail
exactly,
of horse shit, and you'll find a prize.
exactly.
Yeah, some days like today, I was like, do I want to go or do I not? I was kind of wishy washy about it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was just like, I find that like exposure really helps just kind of like get over a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I expose myself as much as possible to like weird to the things that make me uncomfortable, and then over time, obviously, like you kind of like get used to it and know what you're getting into. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for like a quick drive. There's someone here to clean our vents today, so I had to do this weird maneuver in our backyard to get around their truck and turn around so I could go. And then I get out on the road and it's like the most traffic on my street I've ever experienced. And I'm making a left turn, right? So I'm like,
Uh,
my head's on a swivel, like going back and forth, and there's a sidewalk that I have to drive across. So I'm watching for people and shit. And I was
yeah.
like, this is like a really bad idea, but I'm going for it. So I went out and I just did like a circle around the block, and it was like it was fun,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it was just like holy shit, man.
There's so much
Even
going
like the
on,
little, yeah, even the little drives are still like kind of oh shit, but
and
it's a lot of fun.
I always wonder how people in big cities do it because like even out where I live, like it's only one main stretch of road, right?
Yeah,
So in the morning, everybody's trying to get on that road to get into town,
yeah,
and you got like there's not much space some mornings, especially with the school buses, because if they stop on the road, then traffic starts to back up. So
hmm
sometimes I'm doing some sketchy stuff where it's like the traffic's going by me and I have to like speed up in the center of the road and merge in with the traffic, and I'm like thinking to myself like they like big cities must do that all the time or something, because like just think about the massive amount I think that's a lot of traffic. Think about
yeah,
the massive amount of traffic in like Toronto or New York, or well, especially New York. That place seems terrible.
yeah.
It's like gridlock all the time there, and LA too, I suppose. But I mean like Toronto or in Vancouver, you know.
I did a few little drives. There's one time I went into town in Kitchener, and there's like a train or tram that goes through town, and there's
Hmm.
like all sorts of like side streets and shit that you have to look out for. It's crazy. A lot of it is like you have to put a lot of trust in other people, which is one of the more difficult things for me. Is it's like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like I want to be in control of the situation. Like if
Yeah.
I'm at putting my life on the line, then I don't want to have to like rely on any like a stranger to know what they're doing to not kill me, you know? So, but when you're like driving down a street like that where there's all these side streets and there's all these people on the sidewalks and lights and cars all over the place and a train, it's like you just got to like focus on where you are, the car in front of you and stuff that could be, you know, where like
Yeah,
what
yeah, just everything in front of you when there's a lot going on.
yeah, it's like whatever direction you're traveling in, focus on that, obviously, pay attention, look in the mirror every once in a while,
Yeah.
but yeah, driving through Kitchener was like probably the most stressful. Uptown um was like pretty stressful too.
Mhm. Was there
'Cause-
any like in Kitchener, were there any like traffic circles you had to go through? Because I know here it can be pretty sketchy sometimes. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about it, but a lot of people
no, yeah.
hate the traffic circles around here. Absolutely
I
hate them.
think yeah, the traffic circles, I think they're kind of stressful a little bit. I went through a few of them. I think they're a good thing because like I keep seeing statistics where it's like traffic circles are safer than lights. People might be used to lights, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like it's better for speeding and all this stuff. People can't fly through a red light on a traffic circle,
Yeah.
so you don't get T-boned as much. And a lot of the collisions that happen in a traffic circle are low speed ones because you're going around a turn, right? So you're only going maybe like 30, 40.
30 or 40, yeah. Yep.
And if they hit you, then it's not like you're going to get absolutely totaled.
No, that's what they said in driver's ed. They said that it's way well, I shouldn't say way safer, but they're saying that it's safer because at an intersection you have all these intersecting lanes of traffic, right? So
Yeah.
it's way easier for an accident to happen than at a traffic circle where you only got realistically two intersecting lanes of traffic. So
Yeah, dude, it's just
makes
the
sense.
old fogies who are used to their way of doing things. They don't understand the world's evolving. They're like, "What is this big circle doing in the road? Should be a straight line."
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. What is this, NASCAR?
Not yeah. I don't want to go around in circles. Actually, I've seen people go. I'm sure this is common, but I've seen people go around a traffic circle once and then take their exit.
Yeah,
I find
you know.
it's so funny, and usually nothing against old people, but usually it's the old folks. You see this like man, he's like 80 years old, and he's like gone around the traffic circle like twice, and you're like, bro, like take your exit already, man. Like,
Yeah, it's just confusing. They're like, "How do I get out? What do I do?" It's like, yeah, no, yeah, traffic circles are wild.
and I wonder how they manage in like Europe, because that's a big thing. Like when you look on like Google Maps and stuff, you'll like see all these like traffic circles and like crazy like interchanges, and like
Yeah,
they're super common over there.
yeah, Europe is a whole different world. It's
Legit.
I have a friend in Germany, right? And
Yeah.
they just got a car, but they don't drive it that much, right? Because in Europe, all the cities are so old that it's been like made. All the cities are designed that for like before cars existed, like you didn't have to walk anywhere. But
Yeah.
in North America, a lot of these cities started blowing up, after the advent of cars.
Mhm.
Obviously, like the major areas like New York and Philadelphia, all the old East Coast cities,
Mhm.
those ones have like the downtown areas are obviously older, and those are where like everything's more like a European city where you can like live in a community and never have to leave it or drive anywhere because you could just walk.
Yeah. Which I
But
mean, I think it's kind of interesting too how like how you bring that up, where it's in the bigger cities it's more like walking is kind of a better way to get around than actually driving a car
yeah,
for the most part. Like you know I've never been to a big city, so I don't know what it's like in terms of traffic, but
I think if you're trying to get anywhere in the city, then yeah, you probably would just want to like walk or take public transport or something. But yeah, she said that she only ever uses her car to go to IKEA,
yeah. Yeah.
which is like just outside of town.
And
I'm
does
like,
she live in a big city?
yeah, she lives in northern Germany in one
Okay.
of the bigger cities there, and
Okay.
yeah, not trying to dox anybody.
No, yeah, yeah, legit. Has
I'm
she
like the
ever did she ever talk about like driving on like the Autobahn or anything like that? Cuz
I asked her
I've
about
heard
it,
that's
and
wild.
I asked her about it. She said it's just like a fact of life there. It's not exactly like that crazy.
Oh, well yeah, I suppose. To us it would be probably a
And
little
yeah,
bit wild, but
but to them, I suppose it's just like you got etiquette. You got basic etiquette and responsibility coming in play. It's not like you're gonna go crazy on the thing.
oh
Like,
yeah, exactly. And I mean the road is like well for the most part, cuz I've only seen videos, right? But from what you see, it's like very well maintained. Like they're always, the upkeep on it is like crazy. It's a very nice road.
yeah, it's nothing
So
like the junkers we got out here, man.
no,
Dude,
yeah, exactly.
you
My
see the
my my driving instructor told me if you see a or if you see a green sign, okay, it's good. If you see a blue sign, it's shitty, and if you see a black sign, it's like absolutely atrocious.
it's just dirt
It's
and
just dirt,
potholes everywhere.
just ass, just absolute ass. And I was like, yeah, okay.
That's another thing. How you know you're getting old is when you see like a nice clean stretch of road and you just nut your pants, dude. I need to
Like
start making a list.
finally.
I need to make a list of these things that I'm noticing now. Now that I'm actually like, taking responsibility for myself and growing the fuck up. All the things that I enjoy.
There's a guy that I work with actually who he hit a pothole and it bent his rim on his it was like a night, he had like these nice rims on his truck. He like loves his truck anyway.
Yeah.
Um bent the rim on his truck, and then he went to the city and asked them to pay for a new rim, and they told him we'll only pay for a quarter. That is the only person I've ever heard it. Well, in my community of people, in my network of people, that is the first person I've ever heard of who has made a fuss about hitting a pothole. Because I don't know, man. Like if you're driving and you don't see that pothole and you hit it, I don't know if it's the city's fault. I mean, if it's like a massive pothole that takes up the entirety of the road, I can see how you could be like, okay, like I need to contact the city about this. But
Yeah,
he
back
said it
when
was
they
just like a little pothole, and I was like, dude, like,
yeah, back before they stripped all the roads down to like nothing, there was some of the streets were like crazy. My old neighborhood here is like the worst. Like it's got such terrible roads. I hate it.
well,
But
that's like Nick's Road, old chip
yeah,
seal.
you know, yeah, yeah. You know where it's got amazing roads when it's down in Arizona because it's all like
Oh
desert.
yeah,
It's
yep,
all highways. Nobody ever like drives on half these things, so it's like roads that last forever.
yeah, exactly. Out in kind of the deserty area. That would be such a great. We talk about the country, but I mean, like down there, man. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that would be so cool. Well, I mean,
I
maybe for a little bit.
I was gonna say you need like a little bit of entertainment and like or scenery going on. You know what I mean? Because like you just kind of like get in the zone. Because
And
even here, you driving around like corners and shit, and I felt like just kind of like getting too eased into it. I was like, dude,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
right now. I should be like paying attention
No,
more. But
I do have to say, highway hypnosis is a thing, and it has happened to me before, especially after like a long day at work. Like,
yeah,
frig, I get in the car and like 10 minutes later, I'm like almost dozing off. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't even know how that happens. I think it's just because it's such a routine, to go from work to home, and it's like the same route pretty much, and it's just
yeah,
like, oh yeah, I'm used to this, and then you kind of start to, get a little drowsy in the eyes,
yeah.
So
It's weird because you feel like you should be like in your brain. You feel like
you need to be attentive, right?
yeah, you need to be attentive at all times. But
Yeah,
it's hard. The human brain isn't designed to do that. It's weird how like you go from like you doing 50 in your neighborhood and it feels like, you're going real fast, but then and then when you first get on the highway, it feels like you're fucking going into hyperspeed, like you're shaking the
yeah,
car
yeah,
trying to go forward and then finally like when you're on the highway and you get used to it and you sink into it, you're doing like 100
yeah.
and it's just like I've been driving on the highway doing 100 for an hour and then you finally get off and you're doing 50 and you're like, dude, this is
No,
taking
exactly. It's like that little stretch to get into town on the road out here. It's like
yeah.
90 zone, and then it goes to a 50 zone, and you're like, holy shit. Like 50 is slow as balls, dude. Like, oh my god.
It's like Dylan and I almost got hit by a truck. Dylan and I were driving down that stretch and there was a truck that
Oh
crossed
yeah.
over the
Yeah, I think I
street.
heard this story actually.
And I was looking down at my phone trying to pick a song.
Yeah.
I think it was like some meme song or something. And I was like, oh my God, I could have just died looking for like fucking all star. Yeah, without even realizing what had happened.
What a song to go out by.
I would have been so pissed.
Or like like some Toby Keith song.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy? Yeah.
It's like those memes where it's like Wario dies in a car crash listening to uh fucking I don't know, just any song. It has like the sound effects. Or it's like boom, and it's like faintly the radio playing the song.
Paul Walker.
Yeah. Yikes, man. Dude. Yeah, it's nasty.
And another thing about, I mean, the road, I guess, is a lot of people talk about, especially the same two coworkers that I have, they both have bikes, and they say that that's like a crazy experience, like you're just kind of floating, you know. And I've thought about doing something like, I don't know, getting into motorbikes, or going to get a motorcycle license, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it or not. But I think at the same time, I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. Floating along the highway, wind in your hair, kind of
Yeah.
cruising. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it terms of insurance, actually buying a motorcycle, putting
Yeah.
gas in it, actually getting out. And I mean, around here, it's like seasonal, right? You can only do it in the summer. So,
Yeah. No, you know what? I love my life too much and have seen too many live leak videos to to even consider getting the bike, dude.
true, 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 true. Coming around a corner like 110 and you get friggin'
Dude, I saw
T-boned.
this I saw this video a couple of years ago of a dude who got like wrapped around a pole. It was
Oh,
insane. It was the worst.
yeah.
And like pictures of dude with like road rash.
Mm,
Like, why are you
mm,
driving a bike, no helmet, t-shirt
yeah.
on, and shorts? Like, if you wipe out, you're done. You're gonna be looking like the fucking crypt keeper, dude. A ghoul
Really.
from Fallout.
And like what else? ATVs too.
Yeah,
I could literally talk about the same coworker cuz he's into all that stuff. He's
yeah,
into the same guy who bent his rim. He's into ATVs, he's into snowmobiles, he's into motorcycles, he's into all the toys. And I'm like I tell him I'm like, "Bro, that sounds like great, but that's a lot of money." Like you are like holy frig. You got to you got to upkeep on that stuff and you got to drive it. You can't just let it
yeah,
sit in your garage or whatever. Like I don't know. So,
yeah. I'm very utilitarian. I think of stuff, and I'm like, do I really actually need that? It's another thing. Oh my god, it's like I'm at the grocery store, and I'm
mhm.
like, I want to eat all this candy that's here, but then I think to myself, like, I got food at home. I got healthier shit I could eat at home, and it would cost money to buy this stuff, so I'm not gonna do it. Everything is making sense now. It all comes down to money.
Yeah, well,
But
that's like me in video games, or like I shouldn't even say video games. That's like me parting with $60. It's like I know I can part with $60, but it hurts. Like it's just like
does.
I do not want to let that go.
I've budgeted myself, and I still like I give myself a budget each month, like of like how much money I'm allowing myself to spend,
That's a good
and
idea.
I rarely ever like I rarely ever spend anything at all.
Yeah.
I've had it since I started working back in like November
Mhm.
here. I mean, I like that's when I finally like made one up. And like for the first like probably 4 or 5 months,
Mhm.
I didn't touch it. I didn't touch any of the money in my bank account. And it's only recently to buy like Valheim and all that stuff
Yeah.
that I've actually considered like putting money out.
I mean, like buying the UFC fights has been well. I'm actually quite glad that I bought
Yeah.
them because I think like it's kind of like a new thing for me, and they've been really fun. Especially the fight the other night, which was
Yeah.
crazy with the crowd back. We can talk about that a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's still I don't know. I'm kind of starting to be okay with spending a little money here and there for entertainment, but it's still just in the back of my head. I'm like, it could be going towards something better, but I mean, at this point in time, there's nothing I can really what's better, So,
Yeah. Yeah, the fight the other night, that was awesome. That was so much fun. It's I think that was worth it because we had like the group together.
oh yeah,
We were all
everybody's watching
talking
it. Yeah.
and we were watching it, and it was actually like a real good fight. There's a couple of good fights that we saw and everything. I think
Just
that was fucking crazy.
clean fights.
Yeah.
Just absolutely clean.
They were over fast too. I think between like the leg break.
Oh
Who's
man,
the guy
yeah.
who got his leg broken?
Uh I believe it was his name was Chris Weidman, I believe,
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
versus Uriah Hall.
he's been involved in two of the three leg breaks in UFC history now, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been involved in two
Oh,
thirds.
yeah, that's right. Because Joe Rogan was saying that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
because
sure.
he broke his leg in the exact same way that someone else he went up against back in 2013 broke their leg against him.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing back in 2013, except he was the one who had the leg wrapped around.
How does that even happen?
Yeah.
Like,
It was just fate, man. It's stuff like that.
uh, well,
It's
I
so
should have
funny.
shown you
It's like
guys
weirdly
the
poetic too.
I should have shown you guys the fight before that because it was Anthony Smith versus I can't remember his first name, but he was Australian. Last name's Crute. Anyway, Smith kicked him behind the knee, and it must have hit a nerve, and his whole like leg went limp, like it was like basically paralyzed.
Oh yeah.
So he tried to step on it, and it just like looked like a noodle, like his leg just looked like a noodle. So and the crazy part was too, he gets hit, he gets knocked down, and he managed to actually take down Anthony Smith. He got a takedown, and he was grappling him, and then he tried to go to round two, could barely make it to his corner, could barely walk to his corner, kind of faked his way over there, sat down, and they were like, kind of trying to sit him down quick so the doctor couldn't see, and they're like, give him water. Doctor comes over, he's like, stand up, try to walk. He tries to walk, he gets like a couple steps in, he's stepping back and forth. It's like, okay, he might be good, and then he just falls again, and the fight was called off. But it was oh man, it was gross. And then
Yeah.
we go to the next fight, and then we have Weidman versus Hall, and we see that happen where it's just the cleanest break. I've never seen that happen before, and to see that live, that was nuts. That was nuts. And I was telling you guys, it was like a friggin' tree branch. Like somebody took their knee and just
Yeah.
crack. Like, oh, it was
Yeah. And
disgusting.
that was like a minute into the match too.
Oh yeah, it was
Like
like
that was
nothing. It
over
was
in
first strike landed. That was the first strike landed. Was
the
that?
match.
Yeah, in the match, first strike landed was him breaking his friggin'
Brute.
shin. So and it wasn't even the breaking of the shin that was the worst part. It was when he went down and he stepped on it, and it turned 90 degrees, and oh man, that gave me that was the first time that I've ever had an upset stomach from watching something like that. Like that was like ooh. And
Yeah, I didn't think
it's
that I would.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say I didn't think that I would be all that big into like watching fights and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I just I every once in a while I'd enjoy like watching stuff on YouTube, but there's something different about watching professionals do where like they've trained to fight and to kick the shit out of each other. That's like a whole different level of fun. And you can do it you can do it without guilt too, because like these are people who are voluntarily doing
Oh yeah,
it.
exactly. Well, that's
It's
like the Thug Rose fight, which was at first because again, like I just started getting into the UFC stuff, and now it's like, man, I want to go and watch her fights now because that's crazy, especially after
yeah.
kind of hearing her story and how she was like hyped up and whatever, and how she lost the title and now she's coming back and she got it. That's awesome. I thought that's so cool. And I was thinking about that to myself. I'm like, man, there are so many storylines now that I want to go and watch. I wanna continue to watch the Kamaru Usman storyline, and I want to watch the Thug Rose storyline. And who else do I want to watch? I want to continue watching the Israel Adesanya storyline because I don't think he's done yet either. So I think it's crazy. It's cool. So
It's the way this stuff kind of like comes out of the just naturally, they don't have to write it in like the WWE. Like I think
yeah.
UFC, the only reason that UFC like hasn't yet surpassed the WWE is because of course WWE is like already like established for like decades now. And it's also like more child friendly. You're not going to end up seeing like blood everywhere or like
Yeah,
leg
exactly.
around other people. But I think, the UFC, it's probably I think that's going to be like the fighting company of the future. Like those are going to be the shows that people go to.
Oh, I think so. I think so too. I think it's going to be the second biggest sport in North America, probably. You know, that between
Yeah, definitely.
football, hockey, and fighting. Well, I mean, I guess baseball. I do think baseball is kind of a dying sport, unfortunately. But baseball is still a pretty big sport, to be honest. So baseball, hockey, football, and fighting. I think are your top contenders for big sports right now. And and I
Yeah.
should say basketball. I'm kind of just saying the ones that I watch, but basketball is definitely actually I should rephrase that because basketball is quite a large sport as well. There's lots of people who like to watch basketball. So those are your top 5 sports right
Yeah,
now.
basketball. Well, I remember I went out and I watched uh, a match at the university,
Mm-hmm.
a basketball match, and like that, there's so many people there. I didn't think that there would be actually that many people. This because this was just like some nothing match, early on. But no, like there's the whole place was. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I think yeah, basketball. I think that's one of the more popular ones right now.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. I mean, like, you know, everybody's like,
I think of all of them,
go.
baseball is probably the least popular.
You go and yeah, it definitely is. But I was gonna say, you go and watch the championship, but that's like everything. Like everybody goes and watches the Stanley Cup Finals. Everybody goes and watches the World Series and whatever. Everybody goes and watches the Super Bowl. I find that really interesting. It's like
Mm,
the one thing that brings everybody together is that final thing that going for gold. It's just weird.
yeah,
And then you get all these people who
yeah.
are
Well, that's a
on.
lot of time to invest in watching like all
Yeah,
the
that's
matches that
I
your
that
team plays.
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch every Seattle game. I guess
Yeah,
I watch. I'll probably watch like 10 out of the 16 games, unless they get well. That's usually the back end 10, but
yeah, yeah. Exactly. You
because
watch all the.
yeah, exactly. Especially if they're actually going somewhere that year, it's like okay, yeah, I want to watch, see where this goes. Where I think with fighting, it's complete. Like I think that's a little bit different. It's kind of like you almost kind of have to watch every fight to keep up with what's going on. So
Yeah, I think fighting is more easily like consumable though, because fights are over in like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah,
Wait,
they can be. Yeah.
can be up to 10 minutes, but they're probably going to be at like probably 3 minutes, 4 minutes,
Yeah. Yeah.
easy, like,
Exactly.
right? So I think that fights are way more consumable than any other sport.
Then like a 3-hour sports match.
Yeah, especially baseball, which is a very like
It
it.
it can be it can be slow. That's
Yeah,
the only thing about baseball, I think. Especially where you have like 9 innings, and it's just like it can just drag on. And they have a lot of games too. Like that's like soccer, baseball or not soccer, Jesus. Uh Baseball, basketball and hockey, they have a lot of games. Like a load of games. Where, football season's only 18 weeks, I think, 19 weeks, whatever it is, something like that. So compared to hockey, which is like from November to, or sorry, like the end of December to June, it's quite a long time. Where the football season is
mm,
like the beginning of September to February. So kind of
yeah,
interesting in that way as well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that fighting is a much more consumable product than
yeah.
than the other
And I
sports.
like
So
fights. I like fighting because the when in the matches, right? It's it's like one person specifically. It's just like you got one fighter who's fighting for you know, to get like the title and shit, right?
yeah.
Instead of like a whole team of people that you kind of have to like know about, and like of course like the who the good ones are on the team,
Hmm.
and those guys are like the personality. But I think it's easier to just be like, oh, I like
To root for one guy, then
yeah,
yeah,
I like this one dude. Then I like, oh, I like the entire team, and then like all these players are like my shit.
yeah. It's
It's
like, do
easy
you
to
do you really
cultivate
like
a
the
culture
team, or is it
personality.
like it's like all these people who like Tom Brady? You know, it's like, oh yeah, I like Tom Brady. I was a Patriots fan. Now I'm a Tampa Bay fan because I like Tom Brady. It's like, do you like a
Yeah.
team or do you just like watching Tom Brady? Which is fine. I think that's great. You know, if you're rooting for one person instead of a team, that's fine. But I don't know. I find that interesting.
Imagine how frustrating that would be, being on a team, being like just your average Joe, well, not average Joe, but like your average Joe
Yeah.
professional sports player on a team with like a fucking sports legend. How absolutely infuriating that must be, because you got no chance at getting, like, you got like maybe an assist and you'll be mentioned. It's like, oh yeah, you know, Tom Brady got this fucking touchdown with the help of, schmuck over there.
Yeah. Tom Brady leads his team. It's like, bro, it's not
Yeah.
his team. It's the
Yeah.
team, man.
Yeah. You will forever be a footnote compared to this guy.
That is one pet peeve I do have to say that I hate about team sports right now is calling people the greatest of all time. Okay? Because a lot of people when they say to Tom Brady, yeah, he's the greatest of all time. Okay, he's the greatest of all time. What? I wouldn't say he's the greatest of all time football player. He might be the greatest of all time quarterback, but you can't just say Tom Brady is the greatest of all time and he leads football teams to the Super Bowl. No. It's a team sport. There's 23 other people on that field who are doing just as much work as Tom Brady to get a ring, to get a trophy, to get whatever. So
Yeah.
where back to fighting, it's kind of like it's one guy, so you can call him the greatest of all time and you can hype him up because
Yeah.
so it's cool. It's all cool, and I think it's way easier too to get behind one person than it is a whole team. I mean, kind of like you literally kind of said that, but I guess I'll kind of add on to that because it's kind of like all of this one person's work has led up to this defining moment. Where with a team, it's like all of these people's work has led up to this one defining moment. So
Totally. Yeah.
and it's
I
also
feel like,
way quicker for fighters to get to a title shot than it is for teams to get to a title shot. So
yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna end up talking about like UFC and fighting for like a solid half hour every episode.
because
Just gonna be
keep
our shit.
we keep updating on the news. It'll just turn into like a whole MMA podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
man.
this week, Dana White, Conor McGregor.
Have like a highlights reel and shit.
Yeah.
Like, these are the best knockouts. You slap sound effects over them. It's like they do the connect. Fucking punch connects here. Guacky slosh.
Thwack. Bang. Bing bang bong. Speaking of Conor McGregor, he's already lined up. Keep going on about MMA, but he's already lined up to fight Dustin Poirier for the third time. He's done it once, he's done it twice, he's going in for a third time to end end of the trilogy in July, but he already has talks of wanting to smack. This was on like I was reading like an article today. He wants to smack Kamaru Usman. So
Oh, really?
the same guy, yeah, the same guy who just beat Jorge Masvidal the other night. So that's kind of interesting because I don't know because I actually thought Jorge Masvidal would have a chance against Kamaru Usman. And
Yeah.
especially coming back for that second time because that was Jorge's second time coming back, his second chance, and he got smacked. He got knocked out in the second round.
Too cocky, man.
I have to agree.
Even
He
Isaac was seeing it.
he was definitely, well, I mean, he's kind of your Conor McGregor type, because Conor McGregor
use the heel.
as his his upcoming, he was very cocky. He was like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm going to show all of you. And then he went out and he did it. He got 2 titles. So you know what? Good for Conor McGregor. He, put his money where his mouth was and he showed people that he could do it. Or Jorge Masvidal, very cocky, and I mean, I like that. I think it's great. It builds hype around the fight. But at the same time, he got smacked. And did he deserve it? Yeah, he deserved it. So
It is what it is.
I don't know who's gonna beat Usman. Honestly, he's kind of a monster.
Yeah. He seems like it.
And I mean, Isaac was talking about Francis Ngannou in the heavyweight title, which, well, right now they have two guys from Nigeria, Israel Adesanya and Usman from Nigeria, which I think is kind of cool. And then you have Francis Ngannou from Morocco.
Isn't Nigeria? I think a bunch of doctors come from Nigeria. Like that's one of their big exports.
Doctors?
Got yeah, doctors.
I could see that actually. Now that you say that, I could see it.
I'm pretty sure Nigeria is one of like the more wealthy African countries.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to.
Yeah, I could see that. Oh, and another thing, actually, speaking of Africa, something that I did see, there's like a big thing going on with I believe it's cobalt mining in the Congo, because yeah, I know, kind of random, but at the same time, it's weird because there's all these lithium batteries now for all these EV cars, right? So to make these lithium batteries, they also need cobalt. It's like a main component, and the Congo is a big exporter of cobalt. But it's kind of a controversy because all these mines, they have all these underage people and people who aren't getting paid well, and it's all this stuff, and it's getting exported over to the US, getting exported over to, I don't know, probably China, Canada, wherever. People who are starting to make EV cars because, you know, we have, I'm pretty sure all the major motorist companies right now have a prototype EV car being made right now. So we're about to see, you know, well, obviously we've already seen it, lithium and copper and all these other materials are on the rise because of electric vehicles.
So these are gonna become like the new blood diamonds. Not some fucking
cobalt.
I know this
See
is
a
a great thing
documentary.
for the Congo, but at the same time, like that's gonna be like the new shit, isn't it? Instead of like, you know, all these all these wars and insurgencies over diamonds, we're not gonna have an image of like Coney sitting on like a mountain of diamonds. we're gonna have an image of him sitting on a mountain of fucking rocks. It's like, yeah, cobalt. They use it lithium batteries.
Yeah, exactly. You have Elon Musk on his throne.
Yeah, dude. Elon Musk funding he's gonna be funding blood wars in Africa, having indentured slaves on Mars, because he's talking about you know, to go to Mars you'd have to take out a loan from him or something, or like you'd be in debt to him, so you'd have to do work on Mars.
Oh my god. Imagine.
And so there's no like labor laws or anything on Mars, right?
Yeah.
So people are talking about it's just going to be a big slave colony.
Man, how would that work, dude? What if Elon went up himself and he like planted like a flag or something and he like staked his mark and he was like, okay, this is Elon's country now. Like, it's a dictatorship. Like, I can do whatever I want. Think about that.
There's nothing stopping it, man.
And then you have like a big war between Branson and Bezos and Elon Musk.
Yeah. But if even if he does do it, like who's gonna enforce that? Like who's gonna like go over if he starts like if
the
he
Space Force?
if he establishes a colony though, right? He's got like hundreds of people on Mars. He's probably gonna like have it up, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, this is Musk land, you know, it's mine." And everybody there has to be like, "Yeah, this is Musk land." Otherwise, they get fucking total recalled and pushed out of the fucking preservation dome.
The imposter gets ejected.
It's like, who's gonna enforce it? Who's gonna fucking invade Mars? Say, yeah, no, this is everybody.
Well, if we've seen anything from on Earth, I think the U.S. will have something to say. They'll just come onto Mars. Okay, we need everybody to stop. This is our land now. Okay.
There's oil on Mars, dude. They've been sending drone strikes.
Oh man, if there could be oil on Mars. Imagine that. That would be bad.
I don't think there could be because fossil fuels are organic matter, aren't they? It's all carbon. So unless
Yeah,
there's
I
like a huge
suppose.
supply of cobalt,
Unless there's still that theory behind yeah, there's still that or copper or gold. There's
yeah,
still that theory, where Mars used to be a planet that had organic material on it, and then it died off somehow. I don't. Well, there's probably more scientific facts behind that, but anyway, which there could easily be oil on Mars, or like you said, there could easily not be oil on Mars because they talk about. I mean, a lot of people heard about like the Goldilocks zone and how Earth is kind of in that perfect range where it gets the right amount of sunlight and it's not too cold, not too hot, so we're able to survive. So maybe Mars never even got that. So maybe it never even happened. But who knows? That's kind of that's an interesting thing. So then what happens? So then you have Elon Musk who owns all the oil on Mars.
yeah.
or
Or
all
yeah,
the
Elon Musk is the
resources on
fucking
Mars.
oil conglomerate.
The oil
It's
conglomerate.
it's gonna be crazy. This is why I think the future, if we even make it that far, it's gonna be looking like Subnautica, where it's like instead of like nations, they got gigantic corporations like owning space.
Yeah.
Like that's what Altera is in Subnautica. It's like a big corporation who
Okay.
control all
Yeah,
this
I
territory and
never
all this
got
stuff,
caught up in
right?
the lore, but okay, yeah.
And so I think that's what's going to end up happening. We're already seeing, like Elon Musk, he's like being the big push for like, space exploration and all this stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like by sheer, he's going to become so wealthy, he's going to become more wealthy than a fucking country if
Yeah,
he manages to
he's
secure.
practically his own country.
Yeah.
Got whatever
I
it is,
wonder
like he's got like $159 billion or something like that. His
yeah,
net worth.
I wonder if he is wealthier than any country. Probably it'd have to be like a small one. Luxembourg or some shit.
Or like
The Vatican.
yeah, Morocco.
Yeah.
Something
But
like that.
yeah,
The Congo.
Mars is hype right now. Like they just flew a fucking drone on Mars. It's first
Oh yeah,
fucking
that's
drone they've ever
right.
flown on Mars at first
That's
flight.
cool. That's
I
cool.
saw people joking. It's like
Is that the 4K camera thing and the
I didn't see any footage. I saw like I woke up one morning and I was looking at Instagram and I saw a video of it. It's like Mars lander drone flies, and it's like a 2-frame video. It's really shitty, and it's like you see this little speck at the bottom of the screen for like 5 seconds, and then the next second it's like up in the sky and there's dust everywhere
yeah.
and you can barely see it. It's like holy shit, this is crazy. It looks like ass, but it's amazing.
No, it's like the I was gonna talk about those like the memes you see all the time where it's like, yeah, we can get like 4K footage on Mars, but we can't get like a bank security camera to record for shit. It's like blurry pixelated image of this guy in like a white mask.
It's gonna be Muskland, dude.
Musklandia.
Muskalandia. You know what? I don't know. Would you go into indentured servitude just to go to Mars? Like if you were forever immortalized in human history on like a monument?
No, it's not that worth it.
Really? You don't
No,
think for being
no,
remembered forever?
not to go up in that. I mean, like,
That's a
no.
that's a tourist destination right there. The monolith of like all the first colonists'
I would
names.
rather live a happy life on Earth and die than go up to some red desert that's lifeless and cold, you know, just to be remembered as the first person. That's like
Like
being
oh,
remembered as
God
the
damn it.
first colonizers of North America. Like, do I really want to be remembered for that? Like, what
Well,
happens
I
if
mean,
what happens if a war actually breaks out on Mars?
that's fair. And I mean, it's not like anyone actually knows the name of like commonly knows the name of like any of the specific first people except for like, obviously like Christopher Columbus, which I
No,
never
yeah.
got. He's an Italian dude and his name's Christopher Columbus.
Real, I didn't know that. Italian.
He's Italian. He's
That's
from
that's sus.
he's Venetian.
I
Sus.
that's highly sus. A little bit sussy for me.
Sus.
A little bit sussy for me.
Man.
I know we talked about it last episode, but moon mining as well.
Yeah.
Because we talked about we just talked about resources and stuff. So like, who's gonna own the moon when that becomes a thing? Is it gonna be like a global thing? Is it gonna be like, I'm gonna say
Everybody
the
owns
UN? I know the UN isn't like its own thing, but let's say like you have something like the UN, and it's like, okay, the UN goes up there, they mine all the resources, and they sell it back to Earth. And by Earth, I mean they sell it back to countries. Is that how that would work, or is it like? Or is there going to be some war? Is that like the whole idea behind the Space Force? Is the Space Force going to go up to the moon and say, okay, this is our moon, and we're going to mine our resources off the moon, and we're going to sell it to other countries as being the US?
You think the US has already consolidated space power by by creating a space force?
I think so. I think it's I think it's
Well, here's
possible.
the thing: is they've already got laws. They made them in like the 70s, where it's like you can't claim any land on the moon as your
Okay.
own.
Okay.
They treated it kind of like Antarctica, except of course in Antarctica, like everybody has like a slice of land, but everybody is allowed to declare their shit. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
But like the moon, and I'm pretty sure all stellar bodies, including Mars, are like everybody's.
So would it have to be like all countries have to come to an agreement that the US could go and mine on the moon, or that China could go and mine on the moon?
Um, well, it would probably just be like it'd be companies, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
but I don't know like how that would work. I feel like that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be another thing where it's like, holy shit, we're living in a sci-fi movie when there's like
Yeah.
an agreement struck between nations. It's like, yeah, fucking like I don't know, Elysium Corp or some shit is now allowed to mine on Mars or the moon or the asteroid belt. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
holy
I
shit.
mean, well, no, I was gonna say it could easily be SpaceX, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know if Elon's really interested in mining. I think he's more just interested in getting up to Mars and getting his satellites in place so he can get broadband internet to the rest of the world. Which I think, honestly, I don't know about you. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, it kind of sucks because it's polluting the orbit or whatever a lot of people say. But I still think it's kind of cool, like having broadband internet from satellites. That's apparently
Yeah.
really good. It's kind of interesting.
It's cool, but not to get all like not to get all political, not to go Reddit mode. but the thing that's got people worried is like if Elon Musk owns like such a huge chunk of the internet,
Yeah.
like providing internet to like huge swaths of the planet, right? If he consolidates the internet in that
Hmm.
way, then he could charge whatever he wants. He could like suppress areas. If it becomes that people rely on um fucking whatever you call it, Starlink,
Yeah.
to provide internet for themselves and people and shit, then it's going to end up being that he's going to be able to decide what he wants to go on there and what's filtered and shit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It could be like
So
a China situation if he
yeah,
so chooses.
except
Okay.
except it's a U.S. situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I never thought about that. It's kind of interesting, actually. I suppose he
Yeah,
could. I suppose he could. I mean, he could also charge more too, and you could get like
yeah,
kind of like the whole net neutrality thing. Like you could get crappier rates as well from different places on the web.
yeah. Elon could fuck shit up.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
I
Well, I
still
mean,
think
it's
it's
like
crazy.
it's almost like it is. It's its own internet almost in a sense that can access you know other like I don't want to say other bits of the internet, but it's like it's its own network, like Starlink
Yeah,
is, right? And it can connect to Earth's network. Kind of put it like that. It's all the same network. I get that, but I'm kind of like trying to visualize it as you got the Starlink
yeah, but
network
by
and then you got the Earth network, but it's all one big network. End of the day,
Yeah, but by being the service provider, right?
yeah,
He can choose what he wants to go up on there.
yeah. Just like kind of, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's laws behind this as well. But your internet service provider can do the same thing. I don't
Yeah.
think they can do it in the U.S. I think they can because of the net neutrality thing, how that was passed or
Hmm.
whatever. Your ISP can do whatever. Well, not whatever, but they can slow down your rates and stuff and do all that sort of weird stuff. But I don't think in Canada they can do that. Kind of crazy. But yeah,
But I mean, I mean, Elon's doing everything he can to be a fucking supervillain. You know, he's done all he can. At first it was jokes, you know, with the flamethrowers and shit, and
yeah.
now it's just becoming more obvious. It's like, oh, hold on a minute, he means business.
I got my own internet service now. I got my
Yeah.
cars that can be hooked up to that internet service. Think about that. Think about if
Influence.
Teslas can start to be hooked up to Starlink. That would be kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it would ever happen because I'm pretty sure you need a satellite dish to actually hook up to that internet. So I don't think you want a satellite dish on your car.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that would be
He's
weird
definitely influenced a lot of
if like all
stuff.
Teslas, if all Teslas started communicating with each other. Interesting.
Yeah. Isn't that the idea in the future is like for self-driving cars, you like have them all communicate with each other by like
I
transmitting their signal
I think that
so
would
they all
make the
know where the other
most
is.
yeah, I think that would make the most sense for like autonomy. So then, you have less accidents. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. That'd be cool but scary at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
That's like one step closer to AI, kind of taking over a little bit, but if it
I've
if
said
it's
it before,
safer,
I'll
I
say
guess,
it
I don't know.
again. I would, you know, if an AI shows up, I don't know. I think I'm interested in like autonomy. I think autonomy is really cool. I think
Mhm.
in the future, like the jobs that we're working right now, those are going to be replaced by robots. And of course, new jobs will come around. And at first, it might suck for some people,
Yep.
but I think in the end, it would be a great thing. Autonomy, like having robots be around to do all the shitty work
Oh
that
yeah.
nobody wants to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I
It's
I
just yeah,
think
you need to establish the laws and the network to support that in
yeah.
people when that happens.
No, and I think robots are great. I think AI is great. I don't have any real fears about it. And I mean, I think it also kind of like what you're saying. It's gonna provide jobs for people who wanna get into that stuff, the maintenance of autonomy, essentially. Because I don't think we'll ever run into maintenance jobs realistically. There's always gonna be upkeep. So
Mm.
it's kind of interesting that way as well.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for when robots rule the world. Take the fucking wheel away from
take
us,
yeah,
dude.
take it away from us. can can you guys do it any better? Because if you're programmed to be perfect, then you must there must
Yeah.
be something going on. Must be able to do it better than us.
And it's one step closer to my goal of uploading my brain into a robot or into a computer or some
Really?
shit.
You'd be down to do
I
that?
would be, dude. That's you know what? I've thought about it. I'd be down all the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that pretty hard. But okay, hold on. Here's a question: would you do cryo sleep or would you do upload your brain?
Um, I don't know. Okay, here's the thing: is like if they say like, oh, crowd sleep is like 80% effective, you know, there'll be like a fucking 1 in 5 chance that you get put in crowd sleep, you don't wake up. I think I would
Fair.
still do that. Like if they came out today and said, hey, go into crowd sleep, I would wait probably, and then I would be like, okay, like I will put my fucking body on the deep freeze,
Yeah.
and then that way in the future it allows you to like wait. You could just like wait and see. On the other hand, I'm not confident enough in in humans to like keep civilization steady enough.
For you to actually reach a point where cryosleep is like reanimation is like actually achievable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
like,
you.
oh, I want to wake me up in like 200 years.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, okay, well, where's the fucking world gonna be in
yeah. Do I
200
do
years,
I
dude?
even
You don't
want to
even know.
be here in 200 years is the real question. Because
Yeah,
the
I
way
feel
things are
like
going right
it's
now, I don't know.
yeah, it's a bit of a privileged position to have, but it's like enjoy the life you got right now because it's not half bad, at least for
That's
us.
true. That's true. I guess yeah,
But
you kind of flipped it for me. I would probably upload my brain first
yeah,
then.
because then it's not like, it's like
I would assume it would be
it's a whole
faster.
different thing.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean,
a
hey,
whole
with
different
Neuralink, with Elon Musk's Neuralink.
no. No. Fuck, dude.
I
He
knew,
owns
I knew,
everything,
I
man.
knew you were, I knew you were gonna.
Fuck, dude. Elon Musk, he owns everything.
Think about that Neuralink. I was actually watching that press conference from last April or whatever, his press or his whatever. He was like showing it off, and it's kind of scary. Not gonna lie,
It
it was
is.
like they put the Neuralinks in pigs or whatever, and it was able to like track the movement of the pig, and it was able to like predict the movement of the pig like with pretty good accuracy. So I thought that was crazy, and to like be able to have that on a chip as that like that's like downloadable data essentially. That's kind of, or it
Yeah.
could potentially be downloadable data. I was talking to my dad about this, and I was like, man, like imagine having a Neuralink in your head and like somebody uploading their movements, and then like for example, like Tiger Woods, okay, just for example, he goes and he records his movements and then he uploads it to wherever, and then you download it on your Neuralink, and now you're a pro golfer all of a sudden. Think about that. That's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's probably not even close to gonna be achievable, but even if something like that
Dude,
is
that's
remotely close, that's kind of
yeah,
scary.
that's getting in the territory of like owning people's memories and shit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Like that might happen one day where
I don't
they're
I don't
able to
think I
like
don't think Neuralink will do that, but something
I think
food for
Neuralink is
thought.
like the first step. It's the
Yeah,
first step in a big it's gonna be a
in a in a in
long
a
time
in
before
a
you can own people's memories and shit. But
in a technology plus psychology sort of deal. And the scary thing about that is we barely know anything about, well, we know, but we don't know enough about our own psychology, I think, to be implanting crap in our brains, and
yeah,
messing around with it. So
yeah, this is why maybe you know what? This is why I'm getting into psychology so I can help Elon Musk. I'm flipping sides now. I'm gonna help Elon Musk, and then that way, I could be on the winning side of this battle, right?
for the greater good. Tell him what he's doing wrong.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I won't even do it for the greater good. Maybe it'll just be for my own my own survival. Like, there's no way I'm competing against this dude.
It's like I'll help you if you upload my conscience onto a computer robot.
Like, just like rent free. Let me take up
Yeah.
space. Launch me in a satellite or some shit. Throw a couple solar panels on there and let me just exist. Like, I will not bother you again. You know? Do you think Lord Musk would take mercy on me?
I man, that guy, who knows what goes through his head? Honestly, I think I think it would be scary, or maybe it's not. Maybe he doesn't think about anything. maybe that's why he's so
Yeah, maybe
successful.
he is a robot.
Maybe he is.
Maybe
Maybe
he
he's
is
a
a Mark.
lizard like Mark Zuckerberg. So many people have thought for so many
Yeah.
years.
I like how you're just like, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard. There is no questioning.
There is no question about it. Look at him.
Yeah, they live under they live under yellow and that whole like Yellowstone eruption thing is actually when they launched their doomsday device when they get discovered.
Mark
So
Zuckerberg
long as we
came from
don't expose
Mars.
them. Yeah, man. That makes me think of there's this in Washington, there's this like mountain place. that people can go to, and it's supposedly like there's like a UFO landing site inside the mountain, and so people all go there, and you can watch at night like the UFOs flying out of the mountain and shit.
When the imposter is sus.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
should send that to me. I want to see that actually. That sounds
Yeah.
really interesting. Okay. No, I don't think I feel like I've heard about it, but I don't know. I've watched a lot of crazy UFO bullshit. So But you
I
should
think
send
it's
it
Mount
over.
Adams.
Okay.
Mount Adams.
No, I've never heard about that. I mean, I've heard about people
And
mistaking the
there's this
northern
guy who owns a
lights.
ranch.
People mistaking the northern lights for for UFOs. It's like, dude, come on now.
It's funny how people like, back in the day it was like demons and shit, and now it's modern superstitions of like, oh, it's like fucking UFOs and sci-fi, you know?
Yeah.
The lizard, instead of demonic possession, it's lizard people control the politicians instead of, you know.
You're right. You're 100% right. I think Mark Zuckerberg he's a lizard guy and he's infecting all of these people's brains. They're all he's he's planted his seed within them and they're being controlled by him. It's all Zuckerberg. That's why he went to the Senate.
Yeah. Oh my god. And he released like some sort of hypno gas.
Yeah.
Into invisible hypno gas, and
He just
got
went
away
like
he exhales it, dude.
What they put in that water.
Yeah, this is our warning. If we don't make another episode, we've been killed by Mark Zuckerberg.
We found out his secret.
Yeah, we know.
Well, speaking of another episode, we're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. It's been pretty good. It's been a pretty good episode.
I think
100%.
this is a good spot to leave off on.
I think so too. All right, so we'll have another episode next week. For anybody who listened, we hope you enjoy. I'm Liam.
I'm Keegan.
And we're signing off. See you later.
See ya.